Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. We are recapping the week's nerdy news from the Baxter building to Moss Espa and everywhere in between. My name is Mike Gibson. With me, as always, Steve Haller. What's up, Steve?
Well, I'm just happy to be sitting down and talking to you again today, Mike.
That's true. Yeah, I got to hang out at my son's birthday party for 2 hours today in the mall.
Right. Watch small children run around with seemingly unending balls of energy.
Unending energy.
Yeah.
And just when you think they're getting tired, we sit them down, we feed them pizza and chips and cupcakes and soda, and then we send them back.
Right. Rev them right back
more
up.
running around.
Yeah, I think my son spent an hour trying to surf.
Oh, yeah. That was funny.
Just sitting on a surfboard, bouncing around.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Bouncing around.
Whatever works.
Whatever works.
It tired him out, then mission accomplished.
Yeah, exactly. Still a bit of a light week. News hasn't really ramped up since the writer's strike has ended.
No, but after this weekend, or after this week, we should be getting a little more, seeing we're coming into New York Comic-Con 2023.
That is correct. Yes, New York Comic-Con is this coming weekend, so we may be getting some more, at least comics news. I don't think that we never get, New York Comic-Con I feel like is more about comics than San Diego Comic-Con. It's not really as much movies and TV.
I feel it is, but I feel like because of the way the strikes affected San Diego Comic-Con, that we may see a little more than we normally would at New York.
I think you're right about that, and I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but just yesterday, I believe, James Gunn posted a picture on his Instagram account that, outside of his hotel room window showing that he is in New York City. There's a million reasons why a famous director and writer and executive at DC Films could be in New York City. But with New York Comic-Con coming up, you think maybe he's going to be there. Maybe he won't make an announcement. I don't know. But it would be cool. It'd be cool. My fingers are a little crossed. Soft crossed. I got soft crossed fingers.
That just sounds bad.
It does. It does. It sounds weird. It's not even really bad. It just sounds weird.
Like that's a thing. Okay, cool.
Like in Everything Everywhere All at Once, the universe, the hot dog universe. Reminds me of that.
For anyone that's not watching the pod, you should.
I can clearly tell that is an image that you have not thought of since.
No, I have not thought of that since I saw it, and now I'm not going to unsee
so good, though.
Dude, it was perfect. That movie, we are the Multiverse Report, and if anyone wants to watch probably the best multiverse movie that's been made,
best multiverse movie ever, yeah.
Go watch Everything Everywhere All at Once. It has nothing to do with comic books. It has nothing to do with Marvel or DC or whatever, or Star Wars. It's just a damn good, weird-ass movie.
Yeah, and you do get to see Michelle Yeoh and Jamie Lee Curtis with hot dog fingers at one point.
And
as
topically,
silly as that is... Oh, sorry. Okay, I was going to say, and as silly as that sounds, they actually get some poignancy and emotion out of the hot dog finger universe.
And then a callback later that's just hilarious.
Yes.
But
I got to watch that again.
Topically, Ke Kwan is in Everything Everywhere All at Once. And
sure is. He won an Oscar for being in that movie. Oscar-winning
performance.
Indeed,
he did. And has since decided to pop up in everything. So the Short Round / Data, who hadn't acted in many years, is now winning Oscars and doing everything. And I cannot be happier for him. He is most recently in something I watched last night, episode 1, season 2 of Loki.
Oh,
so
I have not seen any part of season 2 of Loki.
Yeah, it's
a very busy weekend.
It's not particularly a spoiler since he's in the trailer, but can say in the cliff notes on Loki, good first episode. Like, we didn't get any advanced trailers or anything, or advanced 4-episode whatever, so no idea. But first episode, my wife and I both liked it. So
okay, good.
There we go.
Good to know. I heard there were some reactions that were released in the last week or so. I saw some kind of mixed things.
I think people
really
that got
know.
the 1 through 4, like it might go somewhere weird or something. But after the first episode, I'm still in.
All right, cool. I'm anxious to watch it. I'll probably watch it tomorrow at some point maybe.
Nice.
But I feel like I'm in the minority. I didn't love the first. I thought Loki season 1 was fine. I didn't love it. I wasn't like over the moon about it. A lot of people thought it was the best Marvel series that has been on Disney Plus. I thought it was fine, but I wasn't as into it. It looked great, but whatever.
Yeah, at the time you were higher on WandaVision, and still are, I think.
Yeah,
but...
for sure. Yeah. So I'm going in with very tempered expectations. Because again, season 2 looks good, and like it wasn't completely not worth watching, you know. So of course I'm going to watch the 6th season. So I'm excited about it. Good to know that you thought it was good. Maybe by next week we'll be able to do some kind of recap of the first 2 or second one, or I don't know. We got some stuff to talk about tonight, despite it being a light week. We got a little bit of a Fantastic Four update. We got a little bit of a Peacemaker update. We got a follow-up to a cool Star Wars thing that we talked about recently. And we got some comic reviews, of course. The writer's strike may be over. First, I should say, of course, this podcast is sponsored by Funky Town Comics and Vinyl in Camillus, New York. Check them out for all of your comics, toys, vinyl needs, all that kind of stuff. They got it in spades, ladies and gentlemen. Days and gays, Funky Town Comics and Vinyl. Check them out. Can't pump them up enough. Best comic store I've ever been involved with, ever, or gone to, I'll say.
Right, and that's not just because they sponsor the podcast. We actually like them.
We thought that before they sponsored the
Right.
podcast. Why they started sponsoring the podcast, I think. We talked about them all the time anyway.
They felt bad. They're like, oh, these guys talk about us anyways. We're just gonna
We should
okay.
kick them some scratch. So yes, the writer's strike may be over. However, we are still in the midst of the SAG-AFTRA Screen Actors Strike. I guess they're still in negotiations. They entered negotiations last week. We have not heard anything, but it's still going on. Strike's still happening. Hopefully we get something tomorrow or something. We get something Tuesday, maybe. I know tomorrow's a holiday, so maybe we'll get something Tuesday. I don't know. I hope to hear something soon. I know that I read a couple stray things. There's no real big news. A couple stray things about the Disney VFX workers are all voting to unionize. They're all voting to they've been approved to form a union. Marvel's been approved to form a union. And I can imagine that as soon as their contract is up for negotiation, those people will go on strike as well. SAG-AFTRA is also bringing in officially, I think, voted to bring in the video game actors. We talked about that a few weeks ago. So that's happening. And I thought this was really cool. Even though they're allowed to go back to work, all the writers for the Drew Barrymore show quit and have refused to return because of her wanting to start production without them. And yes, she changed her mind, but apparently that was too little too late for the writers of her show. So, of course, she will get more writers. She'll hire other writers that, the show is going to keep going. But I think it is shot across the bow and a signal to anybody else that if this ever happens again, don't fuck around with us.
Yeah,
don't
pretty much.
treat us like this. Like, we're serious. We're not coming back. We're
Yeah.
not coming back because of what you pulled.
There was a quote in Time from Eric Haywood, who's a writer-director, WGA West board member, and he was on the negotiating committee. And he said, I think the Drew Barrymore writers choosing to not go back to what is basically a guaranteed paycheck after 5 months on the picket lines was a phenomenal act of courage. I feel like the era of playing in people's faces is over, and workers are really ready to demand what they feel they deserve. So, hey,
Completely agree.
I'm all about it.
Yeah, because that's still like a strike in general is refusing to work for someone that isn't valuing you, right?
Yep.
So, and this is just, because of this strike, they felt empowered to, like that quote you just read, not go back to a guaranteed paycheck because they felt like they weren't being valued by their employer. So, especially like while they were on strike. So you're right. That is it is a tremendous act of courage. That is a great way to describe it. So, but that was interesting to note. I can't wait until we don't have to open the show with Strike Watch anymore. Things are just back and everyone's getting paid what they should be getting paid, except the directors that clearly got screwed, should have held out, for more whatever. But they didn't. Too late. Joke's on them.
Yeah, we finally get rid of Flash Watch, and then we had to go straight into Strike Watch.
Strike Watch.
Someday we'll open the show with the show. What that day is, I don't know.
Steve, I don't even remember what that's like anymore without a watch.
Well, pretty soon it
We
might be
did.
Fantastic Four watch.
It might be Fantastic Four watch. We got an update on Fantastic Four stuff. It's not even real news, but somebody from Collider, it's an outlet that I used to love, and now I feel like it just kind of has turned into like BuzzFeed. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like doesn't seem as reputable as it used to be. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, but it just seems fluffy and dumb.
As you
But
can
they still
tell by
break the
my
occasional story.
reaction, the silence is deafening.
Yeah, yeah. They still do break the occasional story. They get the occasional cool interview, and someone interviewed director Matt Shackman, director of Fantastic Four, also director of showrunner of WandaVision, about Fantastic Four. And Matt Shackman has said that the film will shoot next year in London. It is scheduled to shoot in 2024, the historic Pinewood Studios in London. When he was asked about casting, he said, "Hard to say. Like I said, we're in the middle of a SAG strike, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they get a great deal really soon and we can go back. Then, once that's resolved, there'll be a plan at that point, but I can't say too much. There will be an announcement at some point. I know that the internet is very excited to find out. I'm excited to share it. I just can't do it yet." So that really seems like there's a cast.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No,
unless he's just trying to make us feel that way and to give us some kind of like stability, because as we know from Fantastic Four casting, there has been zero stability. It's going to be Adam Driver. No, he never really did. It's going to be Emma Stone. No, she passed way early on, and you've just been talking about it for 6 months. There's been no stability at all. So it could be that. It could be like trying to like lend a steadiness to rumors, but it kind of seems like he would tell us if he could, but he can't because of the actors' strike.
Yeah.
Am I reading that right, Steve? Yeah.
I mean, if you're reading between the lines and reading the coach speak, that seems to be what it's saying.
Yeah.
And it makes sense based on timelines and what we had thought prior to the strike. Like, I think there was a lot of heavy rumors that the cast was close, or they were going to get some announcements kind of as the strike was hitting. So the fact that we're getting this now, hey, I mean, I'm fine with it. Like, just keep teasing it until you can say something, and then put it out there.
I just want to know who's playing them, because it's been rumored, whoever, whatever, left and right, back and forth forever. It's going to be this person. It's going to be this person. They're going to bring back Chris Evans, like all this insane stuff we've been talking about for years since they announced the Fantastic Four movie. We've been talking about this stuff. I just want to be done talking about it. So I hope that they're already cast, or I hope, like you said, I hope it was like formulated right before the strike and they just got to like dot some I's and cross some T's once the strike is over, and then they can announce that it's whoever.
Right. I mean,
but I'm just sick of the rumors, and I'm sick of talking about it. I just want to know who it is so we can put it behind us and move forward with this goddamn movie that's still so far away from existing, even though we've known about it for so long.
Yeah, I mean, for Mr. Fantastic, you've had everyone from Adam Driver to John Krasinski to John Cho, all rumored to be, Reed Richards.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, any of them would be great, but
I forgot about John Cho.
Yeah.
He'd be really good.
Yeah,
he'd be great.
It's crazy. They've been all over the board for all of them too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens and when it all comes out, but until then, we just get to hear about more rumors here and there.
Yeah, keep speculating. The interview goes on. The interviewer asked Matt Shackman if he could like tease anything or tell us any kind of tidbit about the movie at all. And he said the following. He said, quote, "It's different in so many ways. I wish I could be specific. I wish I could say more. But we are doing things very differently from a story standpoint, from an approach to the filmmaking standpoint that really fits the material. I wish I could say more. I would love to, but I can't. But I think it's going to be unlike anything you've seen before, and certainly unlike anything at Marvel that you've seen before."
That's like 5 lines of nothing.
Yeah. And speaking of things that we have seen before, we have seen directors, writers, actors say this project is unlike anything you've ever seen before. And, how many times have we heard people say that? That's like a classic go-to thing to drive up hype.
And then you see it, and it's like, oh, this is just like the last one. Cool.
Yeah, especially with the MCU, where you and I have talked about at great length how a lot of the more recent films kind of all feel the same. They don't feel like they don't have their own life to them, and the ones that do end up like Eternals had a radically different look and tone and feel to it, and people are like, I don't like this, Yep. There may be other reasons why people didn't like that movie, but then we get something like Thor: Love and Thunder or Ant-Man: Quantumania. It's like, yeah, this just looks like every other Marvel movie and whatever.
Yeah, for how much Love and Thunder, like I feel like Love and Thunder might be the biggest culprit of that. Like, this is the next big thing, and nothing's been like this, and it's like, oh, it just looks like a Thor movie.
Yeah, it looks like someone other than Taika Waititi made a movie that was trying to recapture Taika Waititi's Ragnarok.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that he's right. I hope this is true. Very differently from a story standpoint, different approach to the filmmaking. I don't know what that could mean, but I hope it's unique enough that it feels different. That it feels different from the previous two incarnations, live action incarnations of the characters, but also feels like a new breath of fresh air for the MCU, because I am someone who desperately needs a breath of fresh air in the MCU because I'm getting worn out. That's just me.
I think a lot of people
Fantastic. I know. I don't want to offend the diehards out there.
I mean, we're still going to watch all of them. It's just I'm
100%. Yes.
Like, I'm just less hyped about them as I used to be.
Exactly. Yeah. From a different story standpoint, like there's been rumors or theories or just, I don't know, fan ideas about how they should do it like the Fantastic Four existed a long time ago and then got trapped in a wormhole, and that's why they haven't been around or whatever like that. If they're doing like that, if they're doing like a period piece, if the first half of this movie is going to be like take place in the 60s, that would be great. That would be awesome. And it would be something we haven't seen before. That would definitely be something that we haven't really seen in the MCU. And I would love that. Filmmaking standpoint, I don't know what it means by that, but I felt like WandaVision was very inventive and very utilizing the tricks of the medium being television.
Yeah.
So if he's behind that show and he can bring some of that creativity and ingenuity to this, then great. I'm all on board, and I can't wait to hear more about it. But until then, again, tempered expectations for sure for Fantastic Four.
There was a nice little tidbit in that interview too, that filming will be at Pinewood. So, at least they're filming at a historic studio.
Yeah, hopefully they can suck up some of that magic.
That'd be nice.
Left over from the Star Wars is.
Maybe leave some of the Hobbit stuff behind, but
yeah.
Or Fred Claus. I believe Fred Claus, it looks like, is on the list here.
Fred Claus was filmed at Pinewood Studios?
Apparently.
Why?
Why not? If you
I
were,
don't know, I just feel like
maybe they had some money they needed to throw around, and like, you know what?
I mean, I've never seen Fred Claus, but it seems like a movie that you don't have to film on a giant studio set. I don't know. I'm sure Pinewood has other stages that aren't just built for blockbusters.
Probably, but you don't think Vince Vaughn and Paul Giamatti in a Christmas movie is banging down the doors of needs to be filmed on the same stages as Star Wars?
It doesn't read that way.
Okay, fair enough. We'll give you that.
I could be wrong. If you are listening to this or watching this and you have seen Fred Claus, please let us know if it is on the same level as The Empire Strikes Back. And if so, I will run to my television, watch it immediately. Let us know. Write us and tell us your opinions on Fred Claus, starring Vince Vaughn and Paul Giamatti.
I just checked the chat. Good point from Brian. The Flash had Tom Cruise and Stephen King saying it was amazing.
I like The Flash. I liked it a lot.
Yes, we both liked it more than we probably should have. But was it cinema?
I don't know. I'm planning to watch it again at some point. So.
Oh, Fred Claus had Ludacris as an elf. I kind of need to watch this now.
Cinema.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
That sounds like cinema. Roll out. Yeah, I gotta watch The Flash again. And yeah, I don't know. You don't know, like, just because Tom Cruise and Stephen King are very famous people that have made very great works of art in different mediums, doesn't mean they have good taste in the stuff that they consume, also, or the same taste as you or me or Brian in the chat. Who knows? I forgot about that. I forgot that Tom Cruise loved that movie.
Oh yeah, he said it was like the greatest thing since sliced bread, wasn't it?
He said it was like the movie that
gonna-
people need to see right now.
Yeah, it was like redefining something or other.
Now, like looking back on that, I feel like I remember that story came out of the fact that he met with David Zaslav. Like that was part of that story. And David Zaslav told him about The Flash, and he was like, "Oh, I want to see it." So he sent him a copy of it to watch in his home. So now part of me is like, knowing that David Zaslav is a huge piece of shit, like, what are the odds that he was like, "Hey, Tom Cruise, how much money can I give you to watch this movie and then tell everyone that you loved it?"
Yeah.
You're the biggest movie star in the world.
Yeah.
I can see that being the case. Stephen King less so. I feel like Stephen King's less likely to take a bribe on behalf
Right.
of the state of cinema.
Fair enough.
But
You know who
No, no, no.
100% would not take a bribe?
Who?
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker don't take bribes. Peacemaker loves peace so much, he's willing to do anything to get it. And that includes murdering women and children. But maybe not so much anymore, because he had quite the arc from the Suicide Squad to the end of Peacemaker Season 1.
Yeah.
And I can only wait to see where he goes in Peacemaker Season 2, which now we know James Gunn has announced on social media, or posted on social media in response to a fan question, that he is currently writing Season 2 of Peacemaker. Now the writer's strike is over. That's the next thing on his writer's plate. He's got a lot of things on his director's plate and studio executive plate. Spinning many plates, James Gunn is. But currently, James Gunn is writing Peacemaker Season 2. Exciting for people like me and Steve who loved Peacemaker Season 1. Shocked at how much I love that show, now that I think about it. Like,
Yeah.
shocked. Like, even though I loved the Suicide Squad so much, I did not have nearly as high expectations for that show, and it really, really, really delivered. Really delivered. So, very
Yeah,
excited
that
to see.
100% should not have been the quality that it was.
I know. Yeah. It's just...
I mean, right from the opening, like right from the intro.
Yep. Right from that amazing intro.
I would be lying if I didn't say that I have gone back numerous times and watched that intro just out of the
Really?
blue.
That's another series I have to rewatch. Like, I mentioned this on the show before. Like, it's hard for me to rewatch entire series of shows. I know that's like a thing that a lot of people do.
Yeah.
They'll rewatch their favorite TV shows over and over again. Like, I can't do that. I will rewatch an episode here or there, but it's hard for me to even get through a whole season. Just this past, within October, I have watched all of Season 1 of Ash vs. Evil Dead. And that's a triumph for me. Even though I love that show so much. I've started Season 2, and then I dropped off, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anymore. I might go back to my old ways. The fact that I was able to get through all of Season 1, huge landmark for me.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And every time I watch, like I just rewatched tonight, I rewatched the season finale of Ahsoka with my wife because she hadn't seen it yet. And I'm just like, I got to rewatch this whole thing. I got to rewatch Andor. I got to rewatch Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
Like, I can't wait to see these things. And I just never do. I never think about it.
I end up I think the only things I've ever really like given it a go and rewatched more than once have been Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I'm on my second rewatch. On my second watch of Clone Wars, and it's only because I'm watching it with my son.
Yeah.
And I have independently watched Rebels a second time. Yes, that is the only other.
Right. Rebels I watched the second time leading up to Ahsoka. And then
Right. Yep.
Actually,
Same.
I think I started it like 2 years ago and then finished
just
the
jumped back
rewatch before
into it.
Ahsoka. It was like
Yeah.
wherever on Disney Plus it was whatever
I am.
episode I had gotten to. I'm like, yeah, we'll start it here.
I'll just start. I remember enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know like someday I'll rewatch that show again with my son, and when he's old enough, we'll watch
Right.
Mandalorian together or whatever like that. But like when I'm in the mood for Star Wars, I go to the movies. I don't go to, Andor, even though it's one of my favorite things. I like it more than a lot of the movies that are out there. So I don't know what it is. I just don't rewatch shows. But Peacemaker is a show that I feel like I really should rewatch because it was so bananas and crazy and just turned up to 11 the entire time in ways that I just never expected to see. So I really should do that again, and hopefully I get the chance to.
And if anyone hasn't watched it, go watch season 1 now because it's that good.
You could definitely watch the Suicide Squad before watching that if you haven't seen that either. Like, the Suicide Squad is I'm a big DC guy. Suicide Squad is my favorite DC EU film.
And remember, the Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad. Very different movies.
The Suicide Squad, directed and written by James Gunn himself. I love that movie so much. Every time I watch that movie, I just get so happy. It's the mark of a movie that I can tell, like, when I get giddy watching scenes of it, I'm like, yep, this is up there for me.
Nice.
Doesn't happen too often. And then Peacemaker kicks off from there. So Multiverse Report highly recommends both those pieces of media right there.
Yeah. If you enjoyed Giant Starfish, go watch them now.
Yeah. So cool. And also, speaking of Peacemaker, in response to a fan asking James Gunn if season 2 of Peacemaker takes place in the new DCU continuity or if it will address the reboot at all, because as we talked about last week, James Gunn confirmed that Amanda Waller and John Cena's Peacemaker are 2 of the characters that will be continuing on in the new rebooted DCU. So this fan was asking if the reboot will be addressed. Does the season 2 take place in the new DCU, or will the reboot be at least addressed? And James Gunn responded saying yes and yes. So they're going to address the rebooted universe in Peacemaker season 2. I think that's a good place to do it if you're going to do it anywhere. Not that Peacemaker is like a Deadpool meta humor breaking the fourth wall style character, because like Deadpool's a character that could do that and probably will do that in Deadpool 3 or in the next time we see Deadpool in an MCU movie. I'm sure he'll make some meta reference to the fact that it's not the Fox universe, it's the Disney universe. We're definitely going to see that. Peacemaker doesn't do that kind of stuff. He's just a guy in a universe.
Literally just a dude. And it's even better that that's
just
the case.
Super jacked dude.
Yeah. John Cena plays himself.
Yeah. So he's not gonna like make any like meta references to the universe being rebooted, but I think because he's a comedic character, there's definitely ways for him to be like, what the hell? Superman didn't used to look like that, or make some kind of reference to it. And like Peacemaker season 1 gets really weird. There's some really crazy shit in Peacemaker season 1. So if they could definitely, like, it's not out of the realm of possibility for, Harcourt and Peacemaker to sit down and be like, look, this whole crazy thing happened. The most we can tell, we can trace it back to this guy that ran really fast and changed time. And now things are different. There's nothing we can do. But, they could have that conversation in a show like Peacemaker, I think. So I think that's a good place to do it, more so than in a show like, or in a movie like Superman Legacy, where you have way too much other stuff to worry about than to address the fact that he looks different than Henry Cavill now,
Yeah.
So I think do it in Peacemaker, get it out of the way, and never mention it again.
Well, and especially with that at the end of Peacemaker season 1, it sets it perfectly. It's going to be the right segue to do it.
I agree. Agreed. Speaking of
segues,
here's one.
Not the writing ones, but the transition ones.
No, I never speak of those. I never speak of those kinds.
You don't often have conversations about segues.
I don't. When is the last time I've even thought about one of those? I don't remember.
I don't know, and I definitely don't know the last time I saw one, let alone in person.
They were going to be like the transport of the future.
Oh yeah, it's like Dippin' Dots. It's the ice cream of the future for the last 30 years.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like at this point, Dippin' Dots has outlasted the segue.
I think they may have.
Anybody out there watching or listening own a Segway? Ever ridden a Segway? Or wish they had one?
Please let us know.
Please let us know. We're dying to know. This isn't really much of a story, but Todd Phillips shared a new photo from Joker, Folie, Deux, the sequel to his movie Joker starring Joaquin Phoenix. Joker, Folie, Deux, a movie I forgot was happening until I saw this photo.
Until it showed up in the show notes, I was right with you.
Yeah, I feel like we got a lot of we're getting a lot of information about this for a while, and then but even before the strike,
oh, he showed
really
stills.
dried up about this.
He showed stills that were post-produced, like half a year ago at least.
A long time ago, we got pictures of Lady Gaga as Harley, stuff like, and it looked cool, but it was silent.
I think
for
didn't
a long
he have like
time,
a Valentine's Day thing he threw up there with him or with her and the Joker?
I think you know what, that might have been the last time we heard anything. I think he posted a picture of Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga in some embrace. The last thing I remember seeing about it.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think we've always known it's not coming out until fall 2024. I think might be the date, or maybe
still seems weird.
I don't know. It can't be 25. That's too long. That seems too long. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But it's a shot of Joaquin Phoenix without his Joker makeup on, which I thought was strange. Standing in the rain. There's people with different colored umbrellas next to him, and he's just standing and looking straight up, letting the rain hit his face. Not sure why his Joker makeup's not on. Maybe he's letting the rain wash off his Joker makeup, but I don't know. At the end of that first one, it seemed like
either way, it's weird.
He wasn't taking that makeup off. I don't know. Seemed
still have never seen the first one either.
It's worth a watch.
Yeah,
it's worth a watch. I didn't. I thought it was a really well made movie. Again, Joaquin Phoenix won an Oscar. He's incredible in that. Everyone in that movie is incredible. It's directed very well. It's made very well. He didn't really feel like Joker to me, but I just had now in my brain just like it's a different version. It's a different thing. It's like reading, a different writer writing Batman.
Right.
It's like Scott Snyder writing Batman versus James Tynion writing Batman versus Chip Zdarsky writing Batman versus Bob Kane writing Batman or whatever. It's just different.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different thing, different universe. So blah blah blah, whatever. So I'm gonna go into it with that, and I like the first one enough, but
yeah.
And I think I was soured by it a little bit because of the time. They were like, oh, they're gonna cross this over with the, what? There was all these like fan theories of how Joaquin Phoenix was gonna continue as the Joker in some DC universe, which I'm thankful isn't happening. I did not think was happening, but I was like, guys, no, he's not. Yeah, whatever. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but anyway, it's definitely worth a watch. It's definitely worth a watch. And when this movie comes out, I'm going to be very excited to see a trailer for this. The fact that Lady Gaga's in it and is playing Harley makes me very excited. So
yeah.
Oh, also remember it's a musical. Remember that fact?
Oh yeah. Okay.
I just remember that right now as I was talking.
Huh.
So this is definitely worth seeing. 100% worth seeing because it's going to be wild.
Yeah,
wild. I cannot wait to see a trailer for this. Now do you see the turn in my face? Now
for
I'm
both
so
of us,
excited for
when
this
you
movie.
said that,
Now
I'm
that
like,
talking about it.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes me actually want to see it. I went from literally having
like,
zero cares about this movie. Yeah,
me too.
Okay,
and I even
cool.
remembered that the first time we talked about it, but now I'm back on board, baby.
There we go.
Going to see Joker 2. Hell yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, that's out there for you Joker heads if you haven't seen it yet. New picture. Probably just reminding people that it's happening. Probably he maybe would have posted more stuff if we had not had the strikes, but we'll see. So was it last week we talked about this cool Star Wars story about we found David Goyer wrote a Star Wars movie that was going to be directed by Guillermo Del Toro. Was it last week we talked about
I think that was that or 2 weeks ago, but relatively recent timeline.
Recently. And we were very excited by the idea of Guillermo Del Toro directing a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And this was, I guess this was before he won his Oscar for Shape of Water. So still a well-known filmmaker, but, you win an Oscar and then he has got at least 2 now, I think, because Pinocchio won last year as well. So,
right.
He's definitely a heavy hitter now, more so than he was before. And when we talked about last week, he responded to that story being posted on Twitter, and he responded by saying that he would give us a hint. I'll give you 3 letters, J and BB. Is that 3 letters? Was his quote. And you and I were talking. We're like, okay, well, BB sounds like BB-8. Who's the J? Blah, blah, blah. And you were like, oh, you made a joke. You're like, oh, Jabba? So that's got a J and the 2 Bs. And you're like, ha, 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 ha. Guess what? Guillermo Del Toro was making a Jabba the Hutt movie. For real.
Yeah. And in that episode, we were waxing poetic about like how his weird take on things would be perfect for that seedy underbelly of,
or just the weirdness of Jabba's palace in general.
Like
amazing.
All the creatures and everything would fit perfectly.
Yeah. So this is another interview, another story from Collider. And Guillermo Del Toro had the following to say about it when they asked him about the news of him developing a Star Wars movie. He said, quote, "We had the rise and fall of Jabba the Hutt. So I was super happy. We were doing a lot of stuff. And then it's not my property. It's not my money. And then it's one of those 30 screenplays that goes away. Sometimes I'm bitter. Sometimes I'm not. I always turn to my team and say, good practice, guys. Good practice. We designed a great world. We designed great stuff, and we learned. You can never be ungrateful with life. Whatever life sends you, there's something to be learned from it. So, I trust the universe. I do. When something doesn't happen, I go, why? I try to have a dialogue with myself. Why did it happen? And the more you swim upstream with the universe, the less you're going to realize where you're going. So, a bit of a philosophical take on his reaction to realizing that wasn't going to move forward. But God damn, would I love to see a rise and fall of Jabba the Hutt, the gangster.
Yeah, man.
As
that
a movie
been
from Guillermo del
perfect.
Toro. That would have been awesome. It would have been weird. It would have been weird as hell. Jabba's the main character of this movie. Like, what?
Well, think about, like, we would have to see Nar Shaddaa, which is like the whole planet that, well, it's a moon, but whatever, that the Hutts are from, and like their base and homeworld of like the whole cartel.
Yeah.
And like this weird seedy underbelly of all of that makes Coruscant look like it's a, shiny, pristine, like the underside of Coruscant look like shiny and pristine.
The thing about Coruscant, I don't know if you know this, the thing about Coruscant, the whole planet is one big city.
That it is. Except for the mountains in the south.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
There's mountains in the south?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or at least there was in Legends. Again, much like we do have to issue a correction / clarification on our Ahsoka pod.
Yourself.
I had forever damaged my my Star Wars credibility when I thought, when Adam and I were talking about the Chimera, that I corrected him that it was an Imperial Star Destroyer Mark II when he had claimed it was a Mark I. What I am here to report is my apologies to Adam, because the Chimera we saw was an Imperial Star Destroyer Mark I. However, in Legends, it was a Mark II. So what I did say to Adam was true from a certain point of view.
Yeah.
So.
And what Rick Ollier says to young Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace, I guess, is also true from a certain point of view. Because if you're in the South, then you can see those mountains, and it's not one big city. But from his point of view, the whole planet is one big city.
One big city.
I would have loved this. I would have loved to see a weird ass Star Wars movie with a bunch of slugs double crossing each other and plotting revenge and slithering around. Talks about the fall of Jabba the Hutt. We see the fall of Jabba the Hutt in Return of the Jedi. It doesn't look like he looks like he's in power in Return of the Jedi. So I'd be curious to see what the fall of Jabba the Hutt would be according to this movie.
I mean, maybe he was like, maybe he had more in the bigger syndicate type thing, and not just a crime lord based on Tatooine.
Right. Maybe he lost out some of the bigger stuff and had to retreat to his
giant palace.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, what might have been? I only hope someday we can get something Star Wars related from Guillermo del Toro. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
So awesome. Thinking of things from the past, here's something that is coming back. Is that a good segue? No, not a good one at all. I just added this to the rundown maybe an hour or an hour and a half before we recorded. So I don't know if you got the chance to see this, Steve, but
I did
something
not.
I feel like you'll be excited about. There's a Star Wars gaming bundle has been announced coming back to Nintendo Switch called the Star Wars Heritage Pack. A bunch of older Star Wars games being re-released on Nintendo Switch, including Star Wars The Force Unleashed, Star Wars Republic Commando, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. This Heritage Pack is being released on December 8th of this year. So now you don't even have that long. You got a little over a month to wait for
No, it's literally
these,
2
Star
months
Wars
because
games.
today is October 8th.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. 2
Yep.
months. Yeah. Exactly 2 months. So that's nothing. That's nothing. Put that
Yeah.
on your Christmas list. Steve, have you played all of these games?
Yes.
Well, awesome. Is there one?
I was looking
is
through. I'm
it-
like, no, yeah. I have.
Is this something that appeals to you as a fan of older Star Wars games and like Star Wars Legends canon and things like that? Is this something that you will buy? Is it something that do you have a drive to replay or revisit any of these games?
Is this something I would personally buy? No. And that's
Yeah.
solely for one fact that I already own all of them on Steam. Because they did a similar bundle on Steam for like $20 like
Oh,
2
cool.
years ago, and I was like, yes, I have to do that. Apparently the release price is supposedly $54, which for games that dated, I would say, I don't know.
But
It's
it's a
on
lot
the
of
edge.
games, though.
It is. And I guess if they're remastering for the Switch and like they don't look horrible like they do on the computer, then sure.
Right.
You're also, I guess, if you're playing it on the actual console, you don't have to worry about how they blow up onto a large non-CRT monitor or a non-tube TV. But Force Unleashed was a lot of fun. If you want to, like, basically use ridiculous force powers and be Darth Vader's apprentice, it's worth checking out. Republic Commando is, well, what it sounds like. You're a clone trooper. Racer is Mario Kart in Star Wars pod racing.
Pod racing, yep.
The Jedi Knight games were absolutely amazing.
We talked about those recently.
Yeah,
didn't we?
I think
Yeah.
I can't remember what they were remastering. One of them, but Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy were both phenomenal first-person shooter style games that you get to play with a lightsaber too. And then
Awesome.
KOTOR, like it's just one of the best games I've ever played. So
Yeah. I would love. Now that you mentioned that you heard that the remake of Knights of the Old Republic is dead, you said you heard that.
yeah,
Which makes me like, I don't know. I'm a PS5 guy, so I don't know. Is there a way for me to play that on like the old one on PS5? I feel like there isn't. If there is, I would love it. I haven't looked, so I'm kind of talking out of my ass here, I guess, assuming that there isn't one.
yeah. I don't know off the top of my head because they were supposed to remake it specifically for the PS5.
Yeah, for next gen consoles. Yeah.
No, not even. It was just going to be PS5. It wasn't even
Oh,
going
is
to be
that true?
Xbox.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought it was for everything. Okay.
But I don't know. Beyond that, I think the rest were on PC, Xbox, and now Switch.
Wow.
So
Well,
might
anyone,
have missed out there.
if any way for me to play the original Jedi Knights of the Old Republic, not that I, not that I even guaranteed will, but if there's a way out there,
Right.
you let me know. That'd be great. Thank you.
I'm wondering if that's actually residual because when it came out, it was an Xbox exclusive.
Oh,
Might just be something that's still there.
it's still tied up in contract form. Yeah,
Mhm.
which is why the remake had to be for PS5 because the
Right.
original one, yeah, can't be re-released. Wow, cool. All right,
Have,
Steve, you
have
want to
you
do some
played any of those? Any of those games?
I believe that I played Force Unleashed a little bit because my friend had it at his house, and I would go and we'd play that. think I played the racer game a few times again, similarly, because a friend of mine had it. But no, I was never like a huge video game guy. Like I
Yeah.
had a Sega Genesis when I was a kid,
Nice.
and I didn't have another gaming system until I got like a PS3.
Okay.
So a lot of these games were already out, I think, between those two time frames. So
Yeah, I
and
think,
if they were,
yeah.
if they weren't being released for PlayStation. So they
Right.
were, like you said, Xbox exclusives and things like that. So
Yeah, Force
I was
Unleashed.
kind of out of luck.
Similarly, like Force Unleashed, Republic Commando, Racer, I played elsewhere. The Jedi Knight
Yeah.
games and KOTOR, I definitely owned because those were just great.
Yeah, I'm not like I like video games, but I'm not someone that is so obsessed with them that I get one and play it until I hit 100%.
Right.
You know, every once in a while, there's one that I love that I am addicted to. But
Right. See Spider-Man.
see Spider-Man, see like the Arkham games,
Yeah.
those kind of things. But it's not something that I'm like so addicted to that I can't put down the controller or I can't turn it off to go to bed. It's never that kind of thing.
You did
Unlike-
not get sucked into World of Warcraft like I did.
I did not. No, I didn't. I've heard a lot of great things about World of Warcraft.
Oh, it was a
Seems
phenomenal,
like it would be a lot of fun.
phenomenal game that
Um,
took up way too many hours of time.
Way too much time. Well, that's how I felt about Spider-Man. Even that first Spider-Man game, like
Oh yeah, once you got even anything past the main storyline, you just kind of went down rabbit holes.
I mean, I was already going down so many rabbit holes that I
Mhm.
had to be like, I need to stop doing this. I need to finish the main story, or I will never do anything else with my life. I'll never watch another movie
Right.
or write another song or read another comic book in my life if I don't finish this game. It's like I just need to get through it. So yeah, I
That's-
finally did.
I need to do all of those things before Spider-Man 2 comes out.
Which comes out this month. It comes out the 20th.
Yep, 12 days.
I forgot that it came out this soon.
Mhm.
We're very close to Spider-Man 2. I don't know that I'm going to get it right away. I feel like my October is very swamped, so this might be a thing that I might put it on my Christmas list.
There you
I
go.
might wait till I have some more downtime to really kind of dive into it. It's also like an incredibly large file size. I don't remember the number,
yeah.
but it's like huge. Like I'm going to have to delete stuff in order to accommodate it.
Yeah. So you did the same thing I did and got the cheaper PS5 because, well, I'm not gonna need to have 25 games on it at once in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly. But I may need to have 7 games on it or something. I don't know. Yeah, I may have to upgrade. I don't know. You want to do some comic reviewing?
I think we should.
All right. I think we should. I will go first this week. Since you went first last week, I believe. My book is not a book that's coming out this week. It's a book that has been out for a little bit. But Jesse recommended it to me because he really liked it, and he's got a bunch of copies of it. And it's worth talking about, and it's worth reading. It's a book called Junior Baker, The Righteous Faker. Gotta love a rhyme. It's from Image. It came out a week or two ago, I believe. It is written by Joe Casey, with art by Ryan Quackenbush, and letters by Russ Wooten. And also, Sonia Harris is credited with design. I'm not sure what that means, but still very cool. The biggest thing to say about this book is that the artwork is incredible. It is very, it's like very abstract at times.
Oh wow.
Depending on the frame, depending on what they're kind of trying to depict, like coloring outside the lines sometimes, but also sometimes very, very precise depending on what mood they're going for. Like the violence in it is just a lot of like,
Oh wow.
just turns into like a big blood splatter kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's very good. It's very Sandman-esque, especially a picture like that where this guy's got like little dots for eyes. It reminded me of Sandman art when I was looking at it. It is the story of a guy named Daniel Baker. His nickname is Dizzy. I don't know why it's no one's called him Junior, so I don't know why the book's called Junior Baker, The Righteous Faker. He is a journalist, but his job is to investigate kind of like paranormal sightings or people thinking that they see, weird stuff. And he's on this one case is this group of people called the clergymen who are kind of committing strange and violent acts, but no one really believes they exist. He believes they exist. They're like his white whale kind of. And in the meantime, his editor is sending him on these like smaller trips to just kind of see what's out there, prove the existence of something, or some, nut sees something in the darkness and he has to go see if it's real or whatever. He's at odds with his pregnant girlfriend at home. He's trying to like just figure stuff out. He's walking down the wrong alley and getting beat up sometimes. It's very interesting. He's also seeing some kind of apparition that's coming to him. He can't tell if he's dreaming or not, and talking to him about who he is and where he's supposed to go, and giving him like it's very wild and abstract and like acid trippy of a book. Like it hints at a larger world sometimes.
Yeah.
In a way that it makes me very curious about what issue 2 is going to be like. And like what part, like they introduce a lot like this. It's kind of like a standard size book. It felt like I was reading a double issue or something. Like there's a lot of stuff happens in this book. They cram a lot in a way that doesn't feel overstuffed. Again, the artwork is incredible. The pacing is incredible. It's well paced for the amount of stuff that they're giving you. There's one panel where they go into a background on the world about how there used to be superheroes and supervillains, but the superheroes defeated all the villains, and then they went to war with each other, and then they kind of disappeared. So that we're in like a post-superhero kind of world where this is happening. So I guess things like magic and superpowers exist or used to. So he's not shocked necessarily that, if something crazy might be happening out there. He believes that it's possible. And I'm not sure where it's going to go. There's not like a huge cliffhanger. He's just kind of leaves it at a, he's going to keep investigating this stuff despite the danger that he might be in. And that was it's a very interesting book. Again, the art alone is worth picking this up.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend Junior Baker, The Righteous Faker. It's an Image book from Joe Casey. And Ryan Quackenbush on art. And again, just stellar artwork. Every page is, I don't know, I can't imagine how long it took them to make this book because the artwork is just out of this world. It's very precise in its abstractness,
Okay.
I guess, is what I'll say. So yeah, go pick it up. There's still some on the shelf at Funky Town Comics. And issue 2 is on its way, and we'll see if any questions get answered. But it's kind of like a book where it's like you don't realize you have questions until you're done reading. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's not something that's like deliberately ending you on a cliffhanger or I don't know, making you feel like you deserve more answers from it or something like that. It's telling a story. And it's going to tell you the same story until it's done. It's a very deliberate. It's like I said about the art. It's deliberate in its abstractness, I guess, is how I'll say.
Right.
But it was great. I really liked it quite a bit. So, look it up. Junior Baker, The Righteous Faker.
So you said abstract, and
Sure
you said
did.
you liked it.
Yeah, sure
and
did.
you said weird. And guess what I
Sure
got?
did.
Guess what I
You
got
got
for my
something.
book?
I know what you got, and I'm very jealous that you got this book and not me. 'Cause I'm dying to read this book.
Well, part of it, I
Dying to read
think,
this book.
is because our good friends at Funky Town would immediately know that you would love this book.
Right.
So you give it to me, and I
more
have no
interesting
idea
to
what
give
I'm
it to
getting
you.
into. And
Right.
now we're bearing it a lead like crazy, but I ended up with Batman City of Madness #1. Christian Ward, written and illustrated. I believe he did the Aquaman Andromeda for DC Black as well.
He sure did.
Him and Ram V.
Really cool book. Yep.
And the art for this is just as unique and weird. Like you have everything from a standard panel,
Sure.
which to full-blown splash screens where you're using the negative space.
Oh yeah, look at that.
And then like farther on, there's some weird. For anyone who doesn't know, the Court of Owls is back, but like weird framing
Oh, nice.
and very unique coloring and that one I did love as well. Just
Oh damn.
I'm moving it away quickly because there's some plot stuff on that one, but just
don't
to
show me too much.
just to give you the cliff notes on it. I believe it's known. Well, I mean, there's what did they say? Okay, they do mention Gotham Below in the actual synopsis, so I didn't want to.
Well, no, I think that's when. I mean, I remember we talked about this when it was announced or when it was coming out, and that was like a secret version of Gotham underneath.
Yeah, there's
Gotham
effectively
right?
a mirror version of Gotham, where it's opposite day.
Yeah.
So, lo and behold, the Court of Owls is actually protecting Gotham from the Gotham Below.
Oh, that makes sense.
So there's happenings that happen. There's an overload of all sorts of villains. Two-Face is back, and
I saw
Harvey.
I saw some designs for Two-Face that I thought looked amazing.
Yeah,
when they were announcing this book. So
yeah, when you said that the art was out there in years, all I could think of was how Ward portrays Harvey and Two-Face.
Yeah,
and very, very well done, and fits the character extremely well as well.
Nice.
But you have Harvey, you have the Court of Owls, you have Batman Below, and some other happenings, and the whole thing starts with a kid, and we don't know what's happening or where it's going, but literally the first page is a kid, and we pick him up later, and I'll leave the rest to you. But
interesting.
Like a kid wandering the city.
Huh.
So we'll see what happens. But
right.
I'm definitely getting number 2. I can tell you that.
Wow, cool. All right, and it's a black label book that's on the big prestige format.
Yeah, it's the
like jumbo size
for scale.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
and I was telling Steve earlier, I love everything about the black label when they do the oversized issues. I love everything about it except I don't know how to store them.
Yeah.
They don't really. You gotta get either giant comic bags or they don't fit in long boxes. I guess I currently have mine on my shelf just with my graphic novels, and like they have their own little section because they stick out too farther than other regular size graphic novels, so it looks weird if I just put them like in the other way. I don't know. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, I think I picked up the Swamp Thing black label oversize in I think I picked up the trade for that when Funky Town had
Green
that
Hell?
sale. Yeah, the Green Hell. And I think that's next to wherever I keep that is going to be the only place I can keep these.
Right. Yeah.
Did I find a spot for that? All right, we're good.
Nice. Yeah, well, all right. Well, 2 positive reviews this week. You can check out either of those books at Funky Town Comics this Wednesday. What else is going to be in your local comic book store
Sorry, I just saw some of the variant covers for this.
For City of Madness?
Yeah, they're really cool.
Wow. All right. Okay. Can't wait.
So
wait, what else is going to be in your local comic book store this Wednesday? Let's go down the list. Amazing Spider-Man number 35, American Psycho number 1. There's a lot of spooky Halloween-y books this week, I noticed.
Go figure.
That being one of them. Avengers number 6, Batman and Robin number 2, Batman City of Madness number 1, the aforementioned positively reviewed book endorsed by the Multiverse Report. Blade number 4, Captain Marvel Assault on Eden number 1, Danger Street number 10, Firefly The Fall Guys number 2, Green Lantern number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy number 7, House of Slaughter number 18, The Hunger in the Dusk number 3, Magneto number 3, Marvel Tales Moon Knight versus Werewolf by Night number 1, sounds like a keeper. Night of the Living Dead Kin number 1, sounds cool. Operation Sunshine number 1, Silver Surfer Rebirth Legacy number 2, Sonic the Hedgehog Halloween Special, number 1. Spider-Man India, number 5. Star Trek Holo-ween, number 2. Star Wars Dark Droids, number 3. Superior Spider-Man Returns, number 1. A lot of people eager to read that book. Superman Lost, number 7. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Street Fighter, number 4. Venom, number 26. Wesley Dodds, The Sandman, number 1. World's Finest Teen Titans, number 4. And X-Men Red, number 16. Steve, anything jumping out? You pulling anything this week? Getting anything? Reading anything? Have you read?
Have I read anything? No, there's a whole pile of we're up to that for the backlog again.
Oof. Yikes.
I mean, some of that is Batman and Scooby-Doo mysteries and such, but no, weirdly there's a couple on the list that are like American Psycho. I don't know, but I kind of want to know now.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it for sure.
Yeah. Hunger in the Dusk, again, for anyone who is longtime listener knows that I've been raving about this book. It's been a fun romp so far. We'll see where number 3 goes. I love the juxtaposition of Night of the Living Dead Kin followed by Operation Sunshine.
I don't know what Operation Sunshine is.
It just fun name. Seemed fun. And then Superior Spider-Man is going to be like, if it's anything to do, like if it can hold a candle to the original Superior Spider-Man run, then cool. Like that was such a well done take on what should have been a character that didn't work.
Yeah.
And they made it work.
Yeah. Nice.
You?
I am definitely interested in Batman City of Madness. I'll be picking that up for sure. I'm also interested in, I'm going to take a look at Moon Knight versus by Night, because I forgot to mention this, but a few weeks ago, they put out a Werewolf by Night one-shot, which I thought was excellent. I picked it up because it was a one-shot.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really good. It was the Werewolf by Night and Elsa Bloodstone, both. They're both trying to break into a castle to steal something. So it's like two of their stories, and they end up, colliding. Mm-hmm. But the Werewolf by Night is drawn in black and white, and Elsa Bloodstone is drawn in color.
Oh,
and
nice.
So it keeps jumping back and forth, and then it's cool when they both meet up how they address the fact that one is black and white, one is color the entire time. It's really cool. Like still cool panel separations and stuff. Like that was really cool. So I might just so I can get a more of a if I can get another hit of cool Werewolf by Night stuff, I might pick up that Moon Knight one shot. Definitely into Wesley Dodds, The Sandman, number 1. I think it's cool that they are bringing back that much earlier incarnation of the Sandman. The guy just wore a gas mask and a suit and sprayed people with like sleeping gas. Who they do reference in like early issues of like the first issue of the Neil Gaiman Sandman.
Right. Now,
but hasn't had his own strip in a very long time.
That's where his
like a comic strip. Hasn't had his own book in a very long time.
That's where his mask comes from.
Yes, it is I believe it's a subtle reference. The helm that Morpheus wears,
right,
is a subtle reference to the gas mask that Wesley Dodds wears.
That's especially in the the televised version. Jesus, we're on a roll right now with dated references.
Comic strips and televised versions of what are we?
So I'm gonna get my VCR out and
I know,
check out the adaptation of Sandman.
And have my nurse wheel me down to the senior center to check out what the program,
what laser discs we're using. Yeah. Oh, did you? Speaking of Werewolf by Night, what are your thoughts on them releasing the colored version?
I'm not into it, man. I think it's dumb.
I think I'll have to watch it just to see what it is. But like, if I'm going to watch it, I want to watch that was too perfect as a black and white.
It's so perfect. I know. My wife and I are going to watch it. First, in honor of spooky season.
Yep.
'Cause that's something that she can handle.
Yeah.
It's only an hour. She's not into horror movies like I am, but I'm not sure when we're gonna watch it, but we're gonna watch it in black and white. Like that's like the way it was intended.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Part of me, I think. So I'm gonna wait to watch it in black and white again with my wife, and then maybe after we watch it again in black and white, I might watch a little bit of it in color just to see what it's like. Specifically, I want to see a couple of those fight scenes in color, because those fight scenes are bloody as hell.
Yes.
And you and I talked about it when it came out. We're like, I think they only got away with this because it was in black and white. And if it had been full color and we saw blood splattering everywhere, well, a guy's getting, arrow through his neck or whatever happens in that one scene where fighting that guy,
I forgot
cuts his
about
arm
that.
off or something.
Yeah, that was
like, it's rough. So that makes me want to see it in color. But I guess I may watch it in color, but
and like the Man
if I
Thing
watch it in
scenes,
color,
like I want to see what they do with Man Thing in color. Like that would be cool
like,
to. Again, I don't want to watch the whole thing. Like I don't care about the whole thing in color. I just want to see what they're doing with certain scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't imagine that if I watch it in color, I can't imagine that I would ever watch it in color again, unless it is just so incredible for some reason. But I don't know. It just seems like it feels like it needs to be black and white to me, so I'm gonna stick with that.
Yeah.
I also love, my favorite Christmas movie is It's a Wonderful Life, and I have that on a Blu-ray disc as well. They also comes with like a colorized version. I've watched the colorized version once, and I watched the black and white version every single year.
Did I tell you I never saw that until like 3 years ago?
No way, really?
Yeah.
Our recent guest of the show, Adam Karki, was the same way. Like, a mutual friend of Adam's and mine, a drummer in the band that we're in together. He and I love that movie very much. We would always tell Adam, like, you gotta watch, it's so good. And he was like, oh, well, for years he was like, no, I'm not gonna finally watch it. And he was like, yeah, you guys are right, it's great.
See, now my take on it, because my wife convinced me to watch. Actually, it was when Movie Tavern was playing it.
Oh, cool!
So I actually saw it on the only time I've ever seen it was
awesome,
on the big screen.
That's awesome. I would love to see that.
And my takeaways on that movie were, it's a phenomenal movie. It shouldn't be a Christmas movie. Like it's not a Christmas. It's definitely not a feel good movie.
Tangentially at the end, it's a very feel good movie. But it takes a long time to get there. It's not a
slow
feel-good
burn
movie until that very end. Yeah. But at the end, it's like the most feel good movie ever. Like that last 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, but it's I was gonna say it's a slog to get there, but it's not a slog. It's like,
it's not a slog. It's
you know what I'm trying to convey, but like
it's a slow burn, but in a different kind of way. Because like everyone describes the plot of that movie as being, Jimmy Stewart learns what it would be like if he was never born. But you have to watch an hour and a half to 2 hours you have to watch an hour and a half before that part of the movie starts.
Right.
Right? Like that's only like the last half hour of that movie.
I was going to say, it's also especially for the time, a long ass movie.
It's a long movie. It's like 2 hours long, I think. Yeah. Maybe a little over 2 hours, but
we've been marvelified that that's not a long movie, but by most movie standards, that's long.
Especially back. Yeah. So, but you have to, in order for the what my life would be like without me section to work, you have to see his entire life, which takes the first hour and a half or hour and 40 minutes of that movie. But that's also what makes the end so incredible. And like that was a movie that I would watch, like it would just be on all the time. Like it used to be on constantly when you and I were kids. Like, it was in the public domain for a while, but it's not anymore. But like, so it was in the public domain for a while. I don't know. I think somebody sued and got the rights back to it or something.
Gotcha.
But because it was in the public domain, it was just used to be on TV all the time during like the Christmas season because anybody could show it. Anyone could, didn't have to have the rights for it or whatever. So it was on all the time. So I would see either parts of it or I'd watch it when I was a kid. But then when I saw it when I wasn't an adult, when I was like in college, I was like, then like there was just 1 year, like I would watch it every year, see parts of every year. There's 1 year I sat down to watch it and I was just crying at the end of it. And I was like, oh, I get this movie now. I understand. I'm old enough to understand what he's going through and what this movie means.
Right.
And ever since then, it's been one of my favorite movies, and I watch it every year.
Hey,
so it's December, right? We're talking about this movie because it's Christmas time, right?
Sure. How did we get there?
I don't know. Oh,
Black and white.
colorized versions
there
of
you go.
things that should be black and white.
All right.
Well, Werewolf by Night.
At least,
Spooky.
see, no, at least we
Spooky.
weren't so far off the rails that we couldn't get back.
Halloween. Yeah, exactly. Is that it? Is that all we got? I think that's all we got.
Might be. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I guess we'll do the wrap up. Is that what we do at this time?
Because we don't have an Ahsoka thing to review. If you missed our recap of the Ahsoka season finale, we did our first ever in-person episode of this show,
Yeah.
Steve. It wasn't just with me and you. It was our friends of the show, Matt Paseda and Adam Karki. We just talked about Adam Karki quite a bit. A lot of name drops in this episode, that guy. It was our first ever in-person episode. You can watch it on YouTube or you can listen to it. And we talk at length about the season finale of Ahsoka. And it was a lot of fun. We should do that again sometime.
100%.
Maybe even regular episodes we should do in person sometime. That'd be fun too.
Yeah, and I did. It's funny. I did talk to our friends down at Funky Town, and they're we may be cooking things up here.
Yeah.
There's thoughts. We've had thoughts about things.
There's thoughts about things.
And we still need to talk to Jeff.
We still need to talk to Jeff about that, and you and I still need to talk about that other idea.
Mm-hmm.
The Star Wars thing that will be great.
Yeah, big movements and shakings from the Multiverse Report coming up here.
Yeah, for sure. You might get a couple of spin-offs.
Yeah,
maybe, or mini series. I don't know. Well, I don't know what to. Well, that's part of what we need to talk about, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's all we got. We don't have anything else. I usually at this point for the last 8 weeks we've been saying stick around for our Ahsoka review coming up on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. But
yeah, we don't even have
not
that
anymore. We're done. So maybe I don't know if we'll end up doing that with Loki, but
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
If you'd like to know that before you hit listen to us, we'll probably announce it on social media of some sort. You can find us all around the multiversal spheres at the Multiverse Report. Yep, really struggling on that one.
Just everyone just check your own multiversal spheres and you'll find us.
Yeah, just you know what? Go to Google and type in the Multiverse Report. We're there.
Yeah, we're there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, never mind. Wrong podcast.
Oh, okay. You're about to break some news to me, and then
nope. Completely wrong. Hey, if anyone,
hey, guess what? Never mind.
Guess what? Nothing. Am I talking to my 6-year-old?
Yeah.
Hey, Dad. Oh,
nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back to that. Multiverseport.com, the Multiverse Report at gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of us, check out our friends at Funky Town Comics and Vinyl over on West Genesee Street in Camillus. Well, near West Genesee Street in Camillus.
Yeah, close enough.
And yeah, that's about all I got.
All right. Well, in that case, all I have to say is thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time in the Multiverse.